great. We're really looking forward to it. Back out on the SCG today, and the anticipation that's been built through the previous couple of weeks leading into this game has been awesome. So really looking forward to the start of the season.
Talking about Taylor Adams, how he's been given the news of the last week and his delayed start now.
Yeah, look, he's been okay. He's understands with his experience that he would love to have been here, but these things happen in footy. He's pulled up okay actually. He'll be in a brace this week, but that's just for precautions. Actually feeling really good, so it's hopefully not too long.
Do you think with Parker and Taylor out, but this year you're actually a bit better covered for midfield depth this year?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're sort of probably three of our most experienced mids out, but that doesn't mean we haven't got the numbers to go through there. We feel like we've still got a good quality of players to go through that midfield group. They'll be young, but we're really confident in that midfield group. They'll have a big challenge this week against the Demons and their experience, but they've had a good pre-season, all of our mids, and so we're really looking forward to the challenge ahead today.
Contested ball was one of the weaknesses of the club last year. Do you think you're on the right track this
Yeah,
year?
it's interesting. We had at different times and certainly in different parts of the game last year we're actually pretty good at it, and then we just dropped away in other parts. So our aim is to get that a bit more consistent over the course of the 4 quarters, and we think we can. We think the addition of obviously Brodie around the ball will be good. That gives us another contested ball, ground ball player around there, but also over the ground we feel like we've done some work on that over the summer.
James Jordan in a similar vein, another midfielder coming in and starts against his former club.
Yeah, he's been terrific, James. He's had a great pre-season. He's fitted in really well. He's a ripping young fella, and he's played a bit of footy, comes from a good system, and he's had a good pre-season. So, like all of our players, we're all looking forward to putting the pre-season behind them and getting into the real stuff.
Are you pretty settled on the team for Thursday night by this stage?
Yeah, it was always, even you think I'd have it organised after 6 months of a pre-season, wouldn't you? But you always wait until your final training session. We had a couple of things bob up last week after our last training session. We had to make some late changes, so you're always just mindful that we need to get through today, and then it'll be settled by lunchtime today.
Some of those guys who missed that last game against the Lions, like Chad, Tom, Rams, no issues with them or anything?
No, we expect them. Jake Lloyd, there was a few guys that last week that missed, so we expect those guys to come back in, and they'll be, they're good quality players for us. So to come back in this week, round 1 Thursday night, can't wait.
The backline's obviously been an area where a lot of questions have been asked about what it's going to look like on Thursday night. Have you been convinced by the likes of Matt Roberts that he can kind of start there full time, or are you looking to maybe bring in another tall like a Melican?
We'll look at what Melbourne have got, and so we've seen them obviously play the last couple of weeks and how many talls they have. But we've been pleased with what Robbo's been able to bring. He's been a midfielder that goes back. It's not unusual for those really good midfielders to go back and do well, and he's done really well for a young player. He's been fantastic this pre-season, and Lewis Melican played well last week, so we feel we've got some options there, which is good.
The mix of the tools, something you sort of played around with last year. Happy with how Grundy's coming and being able to settle that, and you can have sort of the other 3 play more permanently forward?
Yeah, it's his ability to play in the ruck and get some big minutes in the ruck is really important. And against Max Gawn this week, it's a big contest and in the middle of the ground. So that allows hopefully there are other guys to spend a bit more time in the key forward post. But we also like to make sure that we might have 3 talls there at different times, but we might go a bit smaller as well. And they've got some great intercept markers down there, but it's about we've got to make sure we bring the ball to ground and get to work.
We saw Errol get to toss the coin last week against the Lions. Will he get another chance on Thursday night, or have you got a different captain in mind?
He was tossing the coin. It's not too tough a job, I hope. So hopefully whoever does it this week calls the right way. And look, I think at the end of the day, it's not about who tosses the coin. It's about our leaders and our mature players to be able to take the baton and run with it. And we're fortunate that even our younger players have played a fair bit of footy. There's a large group there of 22-year-old, 23-year-olds that have played a fair bit of footy together, and so that makes up the large core of our team now. Is that those guys in that 22, 23 age bracket? So and it's sort of again with a couple of older guys out. That's the opportunity for those boys is to really look forward to that and learn.
There were probably a couple of times last year where you weren't quite able to get a result here at the SCG, some close losses. Is making the SCG a bit of a fortress kind of a key for you guys this year?
Yeah, we did a lot right here in a lot of those games though, and that was there was a couple of things at different points and different times of the game that we could have done better, but we did a lot right. Even the Geelong game that we had here we thought we played really well, but we just didn't kick straight. And there was different things that, if you look into those games, that we didn't quite get right, but we did a fair bit of it. And you've got to look at the things you did well. And there was a lot of those times in those games we did a lot well.
The Melbourne-Sydney rivalry, is that the getting the bragging rights just another incentive for this week?
Oh, it's probably it's more about getting our season off. That's what's really important. We feel like Melbourne. We've had some great games against Melbourne over the last few years, and someone told me on the weekend they've only been out of the top 4 3 times, or 2 times in 3 years, which is an extraordinary stat. They're probably one of the most consistent teams over the last 3 years in the competition. So we saw what they were able to do last week. They're a terrific team, great midfield, terrific intercept defenders, and a really dangerous forward line. So we're looking at that and can't wait. There'll be a packed house here, hopefully at the SCG, and we need to get the season off to a really good start.
What's the message to the boys when they take on the D's this Thursday? It seems like there's a lot going on, backline, the midfield, contested possession.
Yeah, I mean, that's always, you try and simplify it and you try and boil it down. We understand what Melbourne are able to do really well, and they've been deep in the finals the last few years. They're an A-grade team, real high quality. So, we look at them and understand what their strengths are, but we can't forget ours either. And we make sure we put a bit of time into that. And we've done some work over the summer on some areas. We need to see how they sort of work out the next few weeks. It'll take some time, some things, some adjustments that we've made, but we're mindful that we want to make sure we get the balance right between looking at what Melbourne do well and looking at what we do well.
Last year, you sort of talked about breaking the season down into sort of blocks. Is it the same sort of plan this year? And I guess what are you looking for outside of wins, I guess, to come together in the first few weeks?
Yeah, usually break them down into blocks. This week's block and then next week's block. So it's sort of, we're just looking for an intense game. I'm sure it will be an intense game. Both teams are going at it. It'll be a massive game, and we're just looking for our ability to be consistent over the 4 quarters, knowing that both teams are going to ebb and flow during the course of the game. They're a gun team, Melbourne. They're going to get their opportunities, and they'll get plenty of them. We've just got to make sure we limit the damage when they're up and about, and then make sure when we get our opportunities to make the most of them. And it can be a complex game, but a lot of ways it's about boiling it down into pressure and contest and getting those things right.
We saw Sam Reid come back to footy a few weeks ago. I guess how's he progressing, and what can we expect from him this year?
Yeah, he's had a couple of games, and we've just allowed him to work into his season, and really allowed him to really come and speak to us about when he feels right and ready to go. He hurt himself in the pre-season last year, and so we've just allowed him to build in and go at his own pace. He knows what he's able to do and what he's not able to do. He knows how he's feeling. He's feeling pretty good at the moment, and so he's played the last couple of games in our VFL team, looked pretty sharp, and so hopefully he's not too far away.
Just a quick one, a couple of guys we haven't seen much of this pre-season, so Harry Arnold and Aaron Francis. How are they progressing?
Harry Arnold's got a back at the moment, so he's been out and will be out for a few weeks with a crook back. And Aaron Francis had a bit of a sore foot. Hopefully play back in our VFL team this week.
Just get your thoughts on opening round as a concept, John, having 4 games in the Northern States to start the year.
Fantastic. I sat back and watched the NRL in Vegas. That looked like a good concept too. So, but it's a great concept to have the games here. It's just a great opportunity for the code in this state to have a couple of opening games here. It's a terrific, wonderful opportunity. Hopefully it's the start of many more unique opportunities to come, and we're really looking forward to it. Have the commission, the AFL commission up here, the full exec team. It's terrific to be able to showcase the game, I guess, in the northern markets, and a wonderful opportunity for us as a footy club and us as a code.
Just as good as Vegas, right?
Sorry?
Just as good as Vegas?
Yeah, just as good. Hopefully there's just as many people here.
You went to the
Batteries fully recharged, John, and you said goodbye to the family and ready for the ups and downs and hair pulling coming up?
Yeah, that's about it. That's about right. Yeah, so that was the last day off was when was it, Saturday? So that's the once you get into the rhythm of the season, it just gets along and away you go. So you look forward to that in a lot of ways, because this pre-season's been a lot shorter. Coming up, we're playing obviously on Thursday. We don't have the weekend off like we normally do. A couple of little changes there, so we've had to adjust our pre-season, and when we found that a good challenge to be able to make some tweaks and make sure our players are ready to go this Thursday. So, yeah, we're all looking forward to it.
You went to the
Couple more, please, guys.
You went to the US over the summer. Any circular stadiums that kind of look prime for a bit of AFL over there?
Well, we played over there in 2006 in LA. We played over there. It was North Melbourne versus the Sydney Swans. I played my first ever game in London. So maybe there's a few opportunities along the way to get international, but for the moment and for this week, the attention's here in Sydney. So let's look forward to it and make the most of it.